One of the things you do really well, Rob, is kind of define the terms for the rest of us. And one thing that you wrote this summer that was in that vein that I really liked was about role players. And you said that Aaron Aflalo was kind of this quintessential wing role player because of the way he defends, the way he shoots, very mistake free, but also can't take over a game. And I was wondering if the way that we look at players, like JJ Barea, we say is a role player, Monte Ellis, we say is a star, but really the way they play isn't wildly different. How much do you think of being a role player is about performance, and how much is about the way you're cast?
I mean, I think a lot of it is the way they cast, and it's actually interesting that you brought up J.J. Barea because Tom and I had a discussion right after I wrote that piece about him and how he's kind of an aberration in terms of his usage rate and, what he does on the court. I think when you look at these guys who are just scorers, and that's all that, like J.J. Barea, make no mistake, he's an okay passer, decent playmaker in that regard, penetrates, but he's out there to score. He has a singular skill that he's bringing to the table. And I think that's what you really kind of look like when you're defining what a role player is or what a star is or just kind of a rotation player. And he has this one specific thing that he does, just like maybe Jody Meeks in Philadelphia, how he's just there to space the court because no one else on the roster really can. And so I think a lot of it is the way they're cast. Like, could Jody Meeks play a bigger role for another team? Probably. But, in Philadelphia, that's what they need him to do. And so he's more of a spot-up type there. And so when you look at these players, yeah, I think absolutely it's the way they're cast. But, typically teams are trying to maximize their talent within those structures anyway.
Hey Rob, we're 106 days into the lockout now. We're all trying to find stuff to write about. You're about as smart of a writer as you'll find anywhere. But what do you look for in the topics to write about now that we're in the lockout? We don't know about free agency. We don't know the rules. What kind of struggles have you encountered, and what's your process? How has it changed now?
I mean, it's very tough right now, definitely. I mean, I have like a big, Word document with all kinds of weird, wacky ideas that I want to explore, whether it's really kind of framework ideas or whether it's more vague, stuff. But, that list has been very barren now as compared to in the regular season just because there's so much going on during a regular season, whether it's just you're watching a game and you see a guy pull off a move and you want to explore it, or the way a particular player plays defense. And right now there just isn't that fodder for content. And so, a lot of what I'm doing now is kind of looking forward at teams, looking at, what guys are going to do, what teams are going to do when the lockout's resolved. And then I think the offseason especially is a great time to explore really general, basic concepts about basketball, our preconceptions about the game, the way we look at role players, for example, or star players, and the way we frame our discussions about them. I mean, these are a lot of kind of things that Beckley and Ethan do at HoopSpeak too. These kind of arguments about the discourse about the game. And so I think, the off-season and the lockout are a great time to really delve into those ideas.
Yeah,
Rob,
sorry, go ahead, Tom.
No, you go.
Oh, well, this time I get to go. All right, fine. What I was going to say, Rob, is I don't know if you caught it earlier, but we were talking about the potential of a lockout basketball league that wouldn't be a league so much as a reality show that's driven towards a tournament. So it would be on HBO, it would be TVMA, and it would be very cheap to run, and you could make everyone involved a bunch of money, hypothetically. I mean, you probably couldn't support a full league worth of players, but blah, blah, blah. You wrote a phrase I really liked, which was that the kind of basketball that was played at exhibitions, and the words you used were, separates the sport from its deeper value. Pro basketball is escapism, is it not? Would you be willing to watch an hour show that was a reality show of these people, their lives, and then also the games?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And see, that's the exact kind of programming that could give an event like that a meaning behind the basketball. And it's like when you tune into, and there's a reason why during the lockout, or actually the lockout's a bad example, but during the offseason, the NBA isn't just replaying, Bucks versus Nets game 62 during the regular season, unless it's like when Brandon Jennings scored a bajillion points or something. And it's because the games that they show, the games that they show, independently of the season, always have. always have some kind of embedded context, like, oh, this is the Willis Reed game. Oh, this is, this really famous historic playoff game that I wanted to watch. And so the reason why those games are given their meaning is because they function within the context of a season, and we get to see players grow and teams grow and kind of this gradual process. And so when you take all that out and just put 10 players on a basketball court, yeah, it's entertaining, but as a self-contained entity, it's really not that great. But now if you gave the viewers, that behind-the-scenes look into how players interact with each other, both on the court and off the court, like you guys were talking about, kind of a hard knock style, I think that would be a tremendous viewing experience, especially for a lot of NBA fans already, familiar with these players.
Definitely. All right, Rob, we got to mosey on, we got to scoot, but really dig the new background, and for whatever reason, the connection was great today. So thanks a lot for coming on, and show us the book. Bring the book out here.
Oh,
yeah, Maverick Stampede.
Back here, one sec.
He's on that rolly chair.
Gotta have it on my it's actually on the fireplace over here. I got this nice book. If you want to order it, it's still available on Amazon, through the publisher's website, triumphbooks.com and whatnot. Definitely would appreciate anyone checking it out who hasn't already, and to anyone who has bought the book, sincere thanks.